So let me ask a controversial question there. If you give 100 MQLs, how much will be unqualified?
Percent, which is of them is gone out of the bucket.
I have a guest who's not just a guest, is a very close friend. He was with Freshworks before and previously used to be with Google. You're also a co-founder of Highperformer.ai.
And the investor said, what if I gave you 100K more per month? How much more revenue can you bring in?
I can already guess who they know.
If you have to sell something to someone, who do you reach out to? That's primary. If I start spending money on the top of them to start educating, then I'm probably losing dollars. When the TAM is already there, you start right in the middle funnel and the lower funnel. Take videos, for example, right? Where Sora.ai is the text to video. Play around with it, see what works.
Then if everybody is going to write similar content,
That's a very good point that you're bringing. It's not similar content. At the end of the day, it's about engineering that prompt, the right prompt, what belongs to you. I think from a content perspective, you have to embrace the GenAI on what it does.
Hey Ramesh, I have a question.
Yeah, shoot.
So are you using ChatGPT like every day now?
Of course.
What's your take on ChatGPT?
I think it's here to live. ChatGPT is there to make every person's life much more easier, and it plays a part in every bit of work that any person is doing. Right? It enables you to write content. It enables you to write an email. It enables you to write, if you wanted to put a right good post. I think ChatGPT is here to stay, and with what GPT is OpenAI is actually doing is fantastic, right? You're able to create bots, and I think ChatGPT is here to stay. If we do not embrace it, then we'll probably fall out. But you don't think so, Arun? Then why do you ask that question?
No, a lot of people are saying that ChatGPT will replace content marketers. A lot of people are saying it's going to take away a lot of folks' job. But my opinion is it will not take away anybody's job. It will only make people smarter or do much work efficiently. It's like saying we don't need a content writer anymore. That's like saying we don't need an SEO expert anymore.
So listen to this, right? So when ChatGPT came in, everyone said the jobs are gone. When everyone said AI, with the advent of AI, all of life is gone, and you don't need. And everyone started fearing ChatGPT. Here's a big monster that's coming your way and it's going to eat you up. Then we realized that humans are getting better control of this monster because the monster starts hallucinating after some time. So it's giving out wrong things and whatever. Then you realize that you have control on it only when the prompt is right. So the control is still with you. When OpenAI launched the text to video, everyone is like, what a place to live, what a time to live in this earth when you are able to convert text to video. So ChatGPT is here to stay. It's upon humans to make use of it. It's about humans to say how you control this monster based on what you like. And it used in SEO. Of course, SEO. SEO is a big portion of why everyone had tools to say, is this ChatGPT written content or is it genuine content? Who cares? As long as Google kind of understands, right?
So ChatGPT is not going to replace an SEO expert. So is ChatGPT is not going to replace a content marketer. This is what you're going to hear in this podcast today. Welcome to Marketing Nation SaaSBoomi's podcast. And I have a guest who is not just a guest, is a very close friend. I've had the opportunity to work with him very closely in my career. And we've been in the other side of the coin. Like he handled growth marketing and I was handling the product and corp marketing. So I'm really at pleasure to welcome Ramesh Ravishankar. Quickly to introduce Ramesh, he was with Freshworks before and previously he used to be with Google and had an opportunity to work with them. Hi, Ramesh. Welcome to SaaSBoomi.
Hey, Arvind. Wow, that is quite an introduction indeed. Thank you for having me. Obviously, this is a great place and it's really fantastic that we also get on a podcast together to do this. So
firstly, I want to also congratulate you for starting up and joining the other side of the force. You are also the co-founder of Highperformer.ai. So how is the journey? Let me just start with how does it feel to start up?
I mean, there's inspiration all across, right? Across the road next to my residence. So there can't be a better place, better time than say, okay, let's do it. So it's been 6 months since we've started Highperformer.ai. and we are helping companies build their social profile, social presence. That's what we're doing. Eventually, we will be a social CRM. While keep that apart, I think life is great. So here we are. I mean, I'm a first-time founder. I'm a first-time entrepreneur, and it's really fulfilling because you are doing something that you really believe in, and
SMB, mid market, there are so many questions, right? So the question is twofold. One is, hey, how, did you do this research for Highperformer.ai, and what kind of marketing engine or GTM engine you think will be suitable for high performer, and what do you recommend for company startups out there on how they should research before starting up on what GTM engine will fit their product?
well, great question, Arvind. So Highperformer.ai was born in July of 2023. Uh, it started with some initial research, and as any entrepreneur, you start a certain way, you figure out more, you talk to more people, you refine your thoughts, and then you decide on the path that you want to take. I'm sure that's the same case for everyone that we did. Uh, I don't know, because we're just kickstarting our GTM. We got to see what works and what not works, to be very honest. But as far as the research goes, Arvind, what we did is, hey, how big is the TAM, right? That's the basic. How big is the TAM? How much are we going to look at it? Now, when we think, when we do the research on figuring out is social presence. Now, why did we embark on this? The reason is Gen Z is probably taking over. Gen Zs are probably going to be the next level, next wave of marketers. Gen Z is going to be the next set of salespeople, and they hang out more on social media than in the real world. Right? That's just going by the highest level of research. What then happens is we realize that everyone needs a good bio. So what we did is we launched Bio Generator as a free tool. It just blew out of, like, beyond what we thought. It just blew out of proportion, and everyone started using it. And then while we were doing this research, we realized that here is the time for us to build something on social, and that's why we embarked on this journey of building AI social CRM. So we are going to embark on a PLG kind of selling, which is very B2C. It's going to spread its wings across multiple distribution channels. We will throw our web is going to be our storefront. We want to get everyone into the web. How we do it is something that we can talk about. I've done this earlier, so that's going to be the way. The factor that it also involves is how much is the customer going to pay for a product. If it's at a higher rate, let's say it's costs about $10,000 a month, then you cannot sell it the B2C way.
I need to break it down for that, Ramesh. I need to break it down for the audience here. Like, see,
Awesome. Yeah, let's do it.
right? So you basically spoke about the ICP first, about what
Correct.
kind of people might use, and then you spoke about the TAM, basically what is the addressable market, and then you spoke about, hey, how can I efficiently generate and reach out to them, and you spoke about a free tool. Okay, the free tool is what is going to help you with product led growth. So that's what you are
Correct.
basically breaking it down. And this audience, like, you basically went after a market where your investment is building the product, and the product is going to give you the leads. Like for
Correct.
me, just to compare the similar kind of one is, yeah, I did my research of mine is a niche market. It's been there for a very long time. It's a 30-year-old market. The same, I did the
Yes.
ICP analysis, and then I figured out that there is a lot of search volume, and basically chose AdWords and organic lead gen. So that's a paid channel. What you basically did is, so for the audience here is, ICP, TAM analysis, what kind of GTM motion, whether it's inbound, outbound. So in this case for Ramesh, it was product-led growth. Previously, when probably we were in Freshworks, it would have been a different channel altogether to start.
Correct.
So I think that exercise is very, very important to understand uh, before creating a GTM motion. As the first step is ICP. So that I think I want to double click on that. So like, how do you recommend people to start with their ICP analysis?
First of all, I want to give you the brownie points on summarizing the points very well. So well done, Arvind. On analyzing the ICP, right? I think we all go with the fact that if you have to sell something to someone, who do you reach out to? That's primary question. Hey, am I speaking to the right person? Is there a fit? Is the person the decision maker? Right? We know all of this at the back of our heads when we start. You can't sell a developer tool to a marketing person, even if the marketing has budget. Just because the marketing has budget, you can't go and sell it. That's basic 101.
Correct.
So in our case, as a high performer, who's going to buy this? It is the marketing person. Now, is it a product that requires a CMO's authority level? Maybe for individuals and companies, it may not be for individuals who come in. But as you go up market, the budget kind of increases and you go ahead and spend that. Similarly, let's take a step back at what I probably used to do at Freshworks. At Freshworks, we were selling help desk software, right? We started selling IT help desk, and then we started selling sales. If you see, IT is very clear. It's the IT buyer, right? Initially, it could be the VP of IT or anyone who's and even an influencer inside the IT team. It could be an IT admin who says, my job gets easier if I'm able to raise a ticket for something that's not working internally. But if you take help desk software, the ICP, I'm breaking the ICP down to a designation level to kind of understand who do you go to. So you will go to a VP of customer service, or you will go to the influencer could be a customer associate, because you're helping them try the product and see, does this product help me solve my problem? So you go after them, and this involves distribution strategies per se. How do you reach out to this person, influencer, to come to the website, sign up for the product? Then the influencer will probably go to the VP or support or manager and say, hey, hi, Freshdesk helps me because I'm able to get a ticket done, and the customers can help, and it reaches me very easily. Very, very simple, rudimentary problem that you're solving. It could be boring, but it's a rudimentary problem that you're solving.
For Highperformer.ai, basically you decide that ICP as marketers, and you know that they are, you don't want to spend on revenue, like dollars to acquire the customers. So you chose product-led growth. So I want to double click a little bit more on that. So what does that free tool do? Like, how did you decide to build that free tool? And what was the initial response, and how did you launch that?
People were not comfortable writing their bio generally, right? Everyone looks at Elon Musk, but what is it that Elon Musk has? He has a bio that people want to associate themselves. So their problem was, how do I put so much that I'm doing in such little space? Then we started breaking that down by people in the lower order as well. So sales guys, what's a good bio that people will come to my profile and then click to Highperformer or Freshworks or SuperOps, whatever. Because at the end of the day, the bio gives you the ability to have a link that people can go to your profile, and that goes to your website. That was the analysis. We had a tool, a very simple free tool to kind of give inputs, which says developer. You could just say, I'm a front-end developer. I am a back-end developer. See, engineers are a breed in this. They're not comfortable putting it out on what they want. So let's help them. We made it very example. We just said, dump in keywords and we'll get you a bio. And that worked really well. That was literally worked like magic. We put it on Product Hunt. We were the number one product of the day. So and then we decided to say, okay, now social is something that people want to be on to make them get better. Their social presence should be much higher here. And that's it. That's personal to everyone, and that's why we embarked on this journey.
So let me take you a little bit back to our journey of Freshworks, and we had this opportunity of uh, joining and working in Freshworks in different stages of the company. I think you joined a little earlier.
Absolutely
You have seen Freshworks at the early stage where it was only inbound SME motion was
correct.
only in place, and then we started mid-market engine, and then went into outbound. I just want to go through this journey. When and how a company should look at inbound motion versus outbound motion, or do both from your journey, seeing from early to scale.
It's a long story, but I'll try and see how precisely I can kind of make this up, right? So I think Girish is just a visionary first, because he had the products absolutely in line, where he clearly thought of the product, which has a large TAM in itself, a huge TAM. Right? Just take Freshdesk alone in itself, standing alone. It's a customer support is critical to any business, right? The only difference is if any business is successful, they could be looking at Excel sheet as their first line of, and then they move from Excel sheet to a tool. What people wanted is a help desk software, and Girish embarked on this, and all this is a brainchild, right? And he said, uh, people are searching for it online, right? If you take help desk software, and now think of kind of building keywords around it. Now there is just help desk, which is the category, and then there is a competition, and then there is your brand. So brand, like I'm just going to talk the AdWords way for a second for all of
Yeah.
you to know. If I were to go, if I'm a startup and start spending money on my own brand, nothing is going to come out of it because no one is searching for a brand. So keep brand out of the way. What still has volume is the category as a keyword and the competition as a keyword, which means Freshdesk may not have instant volume of keywords that people are searching on, but helpdesk software will have, right? Support software will have, customer support software are the keywords there. So this has huge volume. Think of it as a funnel, Arvind. So right at the top of the funnel, people have no idea that such a software exists. You have a different strategy for that, where you have to, it's more educational. Hey, do you need a help desk software? And here is where I think uh, Freshdesk played a fantastic role in building up that content repository which came on your website. So it was all about content marketing, everything that went, what's a secret sauce for a good customer support, right? Those are the high, top level uh, content that we wrote out, and people came and read it and got to understand that, oh, if I need to do better customer support, I need a better customer support software. That's very educational in nature. Now people, the commercial intent to go and buy a software there is very, very minimal, but you're educating them. Next part, the mid part of the funnel is, hey, I have a business, I'm growing, my business is growing, a lot of customers are coming. Could be one case, or I'm using an incumbent software and I'm unhappy with it, which means I could have a commercial intent to switch, either switch or buy the software. I'm tempted, right? I'm leasing the threshold and my free tools are exhausting. I cannot do with them anymore. Or I'm unhappy with something else that's already going on. That's a separate. So you have to target them differently. The final, I need to buy a software right now, is the third bucket, right at the bottom of the funnel. Uh, People already know about what a helpdesk software is. They're already using one. I need to buy one right now. So Freshdesk in its initial days was looking at the mid funnel and the lower funnel in terms of market targeting, right? With some commercial intent. That's what we wanted. We wanted to build our revenues faster, and with people, we went behind people with commercial intent, not to educate anyone because the TAM is so big. If I start spending money on the top of them to start educating, then I'm probably losing dollars. When the TAM is already there, you start right in the mid funnel and the lower funnel. And that's how we started. Lucky was Freshdesk, lucky was Girish to get like funding really early on. He understood the game. There was a large market already. So AdWords worked like a charm. It was rather cheaper as well, but 13 years back when he started. Uh, CPCs were much lesser than the competition. SaaS was new. So a lot of these played advantage to that kind of a marketing. And, we just blew it out of the park, literally, right? Every sales guy would get more than 600 leads in a month. Uh, unheard of. Like,
Yeah, that's right.
it's too much of a
Those are the
choice.
days like where adverts was cheaper, payback was much efficient, conversion rate was much easier. Like we don't have to do consultative selling for SMB. Low touch sales was much more easier to close. But today, even for a deal which is less than 5K CV, we are forced to do a little bit of consultative selling because that's how the market has evolved.
Right? The choice as well, Arvind. There is choice in the market, right? You have to kind of edge yourself over the others. And I think Freshworks also did that, but their magic was customer support in itself. Like, so that also really helped.
Early days, AdWords was really, really efficient. Where we invest uh, in AdWords, we get volume of leads, and sales does low touch sales, and we will be able to close. I think it was less than like 20 days. Life cycle
Oh
was
yeah,
like on
much
20 days,
lesser,
and we
much
were
lesser.
now same product, right? Same fresh desk. We did outbound. Time taken to close a deal to conversion in mid market was much higher. We didn't invest in
Yeah,
AdWords. Persona and target audience was much completely different, and it was a different beast altogether.
yeah.
How's
They
the audience?
Yeah, the idea was probably sown in 2017-18 when we rebranded Freshdesk to Freshworks. The whole idea of increasing our revenues stemmed from that. And then Freshworks was then a double engine model, one of the first in the industry to have both an SMB engine. The whole idea of having an SMB engine and an enterprise, mid-market/enterprise engine was stemmed then. Before we go to that, I want to talk about an interesting event that happened, right? So US was just killing it. Like the US market, the teams were like,
This is the inbound.
hey,
This
30
is the inbound engine you're talking about.
in the inbound engine, right? Your revenues were like really doing well. Uh, and then there is one of the investors came in, they called me directly and said, Ramesh, we need to double down on US. What do we do? And like there's already pressure. I mean, sales guys are already getting 600, maybe 500 leads by then. And how much more do you want? Because think of the demand and supply. There is such a big supply there, and there are only limited folks. We can't scale. And the investor said, "What if I gave you 100K more per month just on US? How much more revenue can you bring in?"
I can already
Now,
guess who the investor
right?
is.
So,
Okay. But
as well.
also, I think we reduced the number of leads per AE from 500 to 150, if I'm right. I think
200
that was
leads. Yeah.
also, yeah, 200 leads. Yeah.
Yeah.
That
I
also
mean, that is
changed a lot.
much needed. Efficiency was much better. Just to put in, when I say into perspective for the inbound engine, uh, they were already closing at a fantastic rate. And then you start when your company is growing, right? You're starting to look between the cracks, what's falling in between, what's closing automatically, what's a self closure, what's a sales versus closure. All of those, we had a fantastic closure rate of 10% from raw lead itself. So think these are all magical things that were happening. 10% closure rate, right? So 100 leads, 10 customers are there for you, paying, so ready to swipe their cards based on that.
We are in the IT world, Ramesh. We have better conversion rates than customer support. But I'll add up one more question to this. Right, I'm sure you. There is some meetings which I have been part of where sales and growth team on the quality of leads. I want you to little bit explain how you defined an SQL, how you defined an MQL, and also there was a lot of discussion about how sales unqualified lead, and there was a lot of discussion, if we remember. I think for the audience here, I think we need to take like that on how we actually decided that back in the day.
Okay. Lord, if you're going to bring all those meetings into the next 2-minute conversation, it's going to be tough, but let me try. So first of all, understand that every sales guys need leads, and it's the job of the marketing to support that, right? If the sales guys comes back and says, I'm very happy with the leads. Thank you very much. I don't need any more leads, which means the marketing guy does not have a job. It's as simple as that. Let's just be very straight. So it's a good thing for all of you who think that sales guys are bugging me with leads, the quality of the leads. Those are very, very good pointers. It means that they are hungry to close more sales because what you are doing is actually working. Now, having said that, it came with a lot of challenges. The moment you are getting 300 leads, right? It's the responsibility of the salesperson also to go and close that many accounts, right? So you would hear back from them saying, hey, the quality was not great. I couldn't close this month because you gave me crappy leads. It's all part of it. Because when you are going at that breakneck speed, you are bound to slip up in terms of the quality of lead. We would have put it on the Google Display Network. A student would have gotten, these are live examples, right? A student signs up, doesn't know what's happening. Sometimes you put it, your ad shows up on a movie ticketing site because movie ticketing, that kind of happened. And then they come up and sign up thinking that you'll get a free movie ticket because it says 3 months free. All of this happened, right? So how do you control it? One control is on the marketing side of things. When you as a leader, you have to say, yes, quality is an issue. We can't let money bleed. So let's target them better. And of course, there are many optimization techniques that every marketer will know. On the sales side of things, we had to put in a lot of these checks and balances to define the quality of a lead. Because you had the luxury of getting 300 leads per sales rep. You had to kind of think about in saying, hey, is it a duplicate lead, which means a lead that is already in the CRM, or is it a fresh lead? You spoke about, hey, is it a Arvind at mickeymouse.com or is it Arvind at superops.com? Right now, with the company name means it's a valid email. If you sign in, our own CRM had this nice feature where it connected and you could see the LinkedIn profile. Even if it's a Gmail, now is the person a valid person? Right? We had to put these checks and balances in place. What we also did is, because you can't do it for whatever X 10,000, 20,000 leads that are coming in a month, you have to invest in a lead scoring model. Now, the problem with the lead scoring model is it's built outside of your system, right? That's a generic model. It cannot be customized to. So we can only take one part of it, which is fit. You cannot take the intent part in a lead scoring model. A lead scoring model will not tell you if Arvind is ready to buy a software right now, but it will tell you if Arvind is an original, actual person, if Arvind exists. That's all it can say. And every lead scoring model came up with their own 200 parameters that I'm putting into it. It's a machine learning, it's AI driven and all of that. It also depends on what stage you are to go and get this done. We had Infer, which was integrating with Salesforce. Then we had Matchpudu, and then there's a lot of things. A lot of these people came on
So
board.
let me ask a controversial question there. Like, if you give 100 MQLs, how much will become an SQL out of 100 leads? How much will be unqualified?
Yeah. First, if you say raw to MQL, you are anyway losing out about 60%.
So it's raw is your Gmail leads also can be considered as raw. Is it not considered?
Whatever the rules of engagement that says between your marketing and sales team. Let's assume you get 100 leads, 60%, which is 60 of them, is gone out of the bucket because it doesn't qualify.
MQL to SQL. So when you're saying SQL, it's a deal.
So raw lead to MQL. From MQL to SQL, from that remaining 40, you get 20. From that,
Correct.
you will get about 30% of it would have a conversation. The moment you have a conversation, a meeting, it's valid.
That has been created as deal, and then it comes. So you're saying, when you said 10% conversion rate, is it from SQL or MQL?
Oh, from the raw lead, actually.
Raw lead. That's brilliant. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. So
that's why I said, right? Like we had you should all kudos to also the product, because the product was built in a way where you came in free, you try, and this is again one very new in India, at least. Like a company from India could afford to do this. You could have a product, give them a trial for 21 days, you get them hooked on. If they really want to buy, you have a salesperson talking to them and say, help them onboard the software, and your sale is done. You don't even have to explain what it does. But that's the beauty of this entire inbound system. As easy as it sounds, Arvind, there are a lot of moving parts.
Yeah.
Okay, I can just spend about a minute or two on this to say what the moving parts are. First, from a marketing standpoint, do you have your distribution channels in place? Do you have a website that actually talks about it? Do you have the mechanism to get the traffic into the website? All of them should be legitimate sources, right? You just can't go anywhere and say, I'm Freshdesk or I'm SuperOps to get this traffic. That's point number one. The second point to get that in place is the product. Does the product allow you easy entry into it? Now you sign up and you should enter. Right? That's the genius move where you do not ask too many questions. Where do you belong? What do you do? Are you ICP? Which geography? You should be able to decipher all that with a third party kind of plugged into the system. After that, are they using the product? The product usage is very important. Do you nudge them? Which means you have to send emails. Email marketing plays a major role at various points. You send an email marketing day 1, day 0, day 1, day 3, day 8, day 10, day 15, right? And that is propelling. That's another important piece. You nudge them to use the product. When you see that the product is being used, that the sales guy have enough ammunition to get that intelligence from a CRM to call them or reach out to them. Hey, I'm so and so. I've been seeing that you're using. Been seeing it's on and off. Can I help you in any ways? Sales assist. Again, it's not a hard sell because they already know what the product is. Yes, I'm doing something. Then pre-sales probably comes into place and say, hey, can I integrate with my existing software? This is what I'm doing. Or migration, for that matter, plays an important role. And finally, even the billing and support makes such an important difference because if they're able to swipe a card, you better ensure that the card is swiped and the money comes. If that's not happening, there could even be breakage. So if you see this whole assembly line, it needs to be in a place for you to actually be successful in sales. And that's the beauty of this entire inbound engine. And imagine doing that at scale for greater than 50,000, 70,000 leads.
And you also were, if I remember right, uh, organic lead gen was one of the biggest pillar
Important
for
sources.
Freshworks, especially the quality of leads and the conversion rate were also better for
Absolutely.
organic than paid. I just want to talk to you a little bit more about how at the scale, like we are talking about the scale of company, which is right now at 500 million, like when we were handling it was at a 200 to 300 million journey. Like it would be good to talk about organic lead gen little bit at the scale and things which you can share to the audience, like which helped the growth of Freshworks at the time.
Organic lead gen right now is more important than paid at this juncture for every company, because not all companies get as lucky as Freshdesk. Point one, not all companies have the the money power to go and spend and experiment, right? So times have changed. So my advice to every company, every founder is please do focus on organic lead gen. It may not yield results instantly. It will take time, but it's always beneficial. Having said that, I want to go back and revisit the point that I spoke about, right? Initially, when you're starting in, when I say organic, or when Arvind says organic and paid and all, he means search in particular. When people are searching for the category, it's very easy. When people are searching for a brand, they clearly know what they want, right? Freshdesk, SuperOps, Highperformer, they know the brand. You have to ensure that your brand, the cost of acquiring a lead with your brand kind of keyword is the lowest, right? Brand, why is brand such a beautiful thing? It converts at 30% raw lead. It costs 1/10 of your non-brand lead. So the question is, why can't everyone just invest and spend on their brand? It's not as easy because no one knows your brand. So to your point, Arvind, when the company is about 200 million or 300 million, even 100 million for the matter, it knows everyone. It means that your brand is well known reasonably, right? There is no end-to-end other brand metrics we talk about. That's the time when brand takes over. That's point one. And then the website should just talk that language, brand, and everything. To the other point, organic search just converts very well. It converts at probably 20% from the raw lead, if not 30%. Because when people are reading, right, you have articles. Now, again, I'm going to put this through the funnel of organic content that is very educational in nature, which means you don't expect them to read. But at some point in time, when you are reading articles, when you are putting it out, it's at the back of your head. So sometimes okay, let me see. It's now organic lead gen doesn't mean you just keep talking help desk, fresh desk, help desk, fresh desk. You're talking about Girish. You're talking about how this person is helping the SaaS in India. You're talking about the product marketing. What does the product do? You're talking about interesting updates. You're talking about a webinar that you've been doing. All of that content goes into. Now you can't pay money and promote this as much because it's not going to give you yield. So you make it rank, and that's a long haul process. It's a 6-month journey to say what kind of content and how will it rank. And that's a separate team in itself, which talks about volume of leads versus difficulty of leads. Right? Help desk as a keyword will have huge volume, high difficulty. So it's impossible, literally, for any newcomer to say, I want to rank it in the top 3. There's no way you can do it. It has to wait. You have to wait it out. But you need to keep refreshing. You have to write about all the keywords that's on even the periphery of a help desk that you may have to look. When we started with the inbound lead gen, paid was at a good 70-80%, and non-paid was just contributing 20. Over a period of time, at this point of the last that I know, I was at Freshworks, non-paid has overtaken paid signups, which means that it's
I
the
think
power
I
of the
was
brand.
there. I think we were 50-50. I think I remember we
Yeah.
were talking about 50 paid and 50. That's a great number where non-paid has
Absolutely, right? Because
overtaken
I mean, the
paid.
company has grown, it's a public company. It takes time, but you must remember it's taken 12 years for Freshworks to get
Was
there, and it's just scratching the surface, right? Think of companies like Google, Adobe, Salesforce, right? Their investment on paid is high, but their
right.
HubSpot, they're even higher.
So I have a tactical question. So global brand, global organic is one thing, or global search volume itself is one thing. Like each territory will have a different kind of lead target. US might need 3,000 leads, but for the team, or Europe might need 2,000, and Australia might need just 1,000, right? But the search volume would be lesser compared to US to Australia and everything. But you probably need to have different tactics to address each market. So is there any tips and tricks for the folks out here other than AdWords? Like, what did you do to make sure that you get that kind of volume?
There are quite a few things that we need to understand the market. Now, basically, from a target setting perspective, you cannot have a US target just because the geography is big and India target the same, right? You cannot have a Europe and Australia target as the same. That target setting is one piece of it. Now, once assuming with common sense prevailing, the size of the market knowing, the TAM in every place, you boil it down to the number that needs to be achieved at the end of every year. You break that down into leads, back of the envelope, or you have a systematic method of conversion rate. That's a calculation that goes. You come to X number of leads that is needed for X journey. This will significantly be higher. Let's say the company is growing at 50% year over year. The number of leads that you need for every region will be 50% more, right? Let's just keep it at that from the previous year. Now, how do you go about doing it? Like sales, you start narrowing down the targeting, right? If it is US, first step in the first year of operation of breaking down, you break it down by US West, US East. Then, because the marketers, you have to do that even for the marketers. Hey, you are in charge of generating leads for US West. You are in charge for generating leads for market. So you do not have the same person do it. Only then we will know in US West, beyond New York, beyond California, what else are the states that are generating leads? You have to get into the depth. Which city, which territory is where we're getting. This is easy for the US because it's only English. The problem goes multifold when you go to a region like Europe. When you go to Europe, the language is 50-50, English and non-English. Some regions, it's more skewed towards the local languages. You have to look at local language. You have to look at the city level, and that's how you drill down to every piece.
No, like a
Predominantly,
personalization also has to be done for each
yeah,
market and each
yeah.
and
That's a
also for
good
each
point,
territory.
Arvind. Yes. Let me give you an example. Funny incident that happened was, I think it was Portuguese, the website, the Spanish website, which had Portuguese. Uh, Freshdesk had a line which says 3 agents free. And we put that out. We put Google. You have to hustle in a startup, right? So you just use Google translate it, and then it goes live. The copy read as in the local language in Portuguese, 3 convicts were freed. When you say agent, it was when you use Google Translate. So what I'm trying to say is these are rookie errors, but in a hustle
Yeah.
mode, it's fine. But you have to use the right transliteration, and it's just not about translation. So these are the challenges that again come that you have to be very
I
wary of.
still remember that campaign. So I have this one last question, but with a little detail. And I'm thinking every department in the world is going through this transition. Especially we live in the Gen AI, Chat GPT world. How do you think this marketing in SaaS industry gonna change with these new trends, Gen AI and Chat GPT, and like what should they be looking out for? Where should they invest? How should they hire? How should they adopt? Like it's a broad question, but like from your experience, like what would you advise all the marketers out there?
I think that's a very nice coming back to where we started, right? So, uh, j- few things over here. Chat GPT in this AI, Gen AI kind of era, I think it's all about speed. You can get a lot more done. It doesn't mean you get a lot more done with lot less people. That's not what I'm getting to, right? You can get a lot more done. How do we leverage this? So, which means uh, what you would take as a roadmap to write 10 articles, you should use the same number of people to write 30 or 50 articles, right? That's for a content. When you are a content marketer writing top of the funnel content, you can't be obsessed with language and say, this is my style of writing. I write a very journalism kind of way. This is the copy. It's not needed because you have Chat GPT. If something is not working, you can just tell GPT that, hey, it's not working. Can you give me alternatives? You don't have to sit and brood your time on that saying, we have to get it better and I will take time. No. So content marketer, it's special. It definitely helps. In the era of it's predominantly content that it will help. You know, founders, uh, when you're looking for, back in the day, when you're putting out a website messaging, it has to be quick. You can't say, there's no need for research now to say, this is what our customers want, and let's try and work on this messaging. You can put it, if you're a sub-$1 million company, uh, it's very fast. Just keep experimenting. You don't have to use your brains. There is a GPT. You tell it even number of characters it gives you. So that's, another way to, you can iterate much faster than you probably did earlier. That's again help in the content marketing system. In the ad world, right? Probably Google, I'm not gone into the system. It will even start suggesting you what ads to do. So don't break your head down on saying this is the right ad. So a lot of times content is very subjective. What I like is what you may not like, what you may not like. But if there's performance, let's go with it. Right? If there is a punctuation or if there is a preposition that is missing, go ahead with it. Don't worry about it. So I think from a content perspective, you have to embrace the Gen AI on what it does. Take videos, for example, right? Where Sora.ai is the text to video. Play around with it. See what works. Write, long form content using GPT. Go ahead, put it out. Let's see. Who are we to judge if the quality is GPT focused or not? Google will decide that.
So the last controversial question to you, because you mentioned Google, do you think Google bot is going to penalize people using ChatGPT in future?
It's so far it hasn't.
Because if everybody is going to
So
write similar content, similar this one, how
okay,
will
that's
a
a good
bot?
point. Okay,
Yeah,
that's a very good point that you're bringing. It's not similar content, Arvind. Right? At the end
yeah.
of the day, it's about engineering that prompt, the right prompt, what belongs to you. You know your persona the best. So the output, still have control over the output. So the prompt engineering there is very, 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 very important. It's not going to be similar content at all, first of all. Second, even if Google doesn't, like I said, we are in this cusp, in this time where there's a transition happening where Google is important, but it's not the ultimate source anymore. There are social media networks that are, really taking over. Like people are discussing active topics on Reddit, on Facebook, so don't leave those channels out. So these are channels that are becoming Google. People are using more to find, if you take the Gen Z, the restaurants nearby. But the actual discussion, deep dive topics are happening on LinkedIn. You put up a post, have your say, you will have people discussing that. That's your own original content. Well, right? You're not using ChatGPT to reply. You're using your own
That's
content, right? So
exactly what I would say is like the content person, even if they're going to use ChatGPT or the marketer who's going to do long form, short form, all these kind of content, uh, it's very important they go a little deeper and research and write it,
yes,
prompt to write it better. If you're going to do surface level content,
it's not going to
you
use.
are not going to be recognized, and it will be very very interesting how this rules of engagement is going to change once Google bots are going to come up with what works and what doesn't work. I think it's going to change the
Absolutely.
way we think about SEO, think about marketing, and completely on organic lead gen and so on. Awesome, Ramesh. It
Absolutely.
was been a pleasure talking to you as always, and thank you for joining us in the Marketing Nation SaaSBoomi podcast, and good luck with your new journey, Highperformer.ai. And subscribers,
Thank you.
please hit like, share, and subscribe to our podcast. And thank you once again. Tune in
Don't
for
forget to
SaaSBoomi
hit on the bell icon. You missed that. All right. Great. Fantastic speaking to you, Arvind. As usual, you've been a pleasure talking to. And I hope it's really been useful for all marketers. And this is really fun. Thank you.